strategic. I hope to begin with that all is well and that you can hear us at your end. So in the session today, we are going to look at introducing intellectual property management in what we hope to be a slightly different way. We are going to look at innovation, what intellectual property means for us, and intellectual property in business transaction, or as I put it, intellectual property in action. Because a number of times our clients, business managers and lawyers tend to ask us, what is the use of intellectual property? And in this introductory session, I hope to try and answer that. It's important for us to look at moving forward on certain basic things, and this is the structure of the interactive session today. The part one is what we are essentially going to look at, which is understanding intellectual property, understanding the impact of intellectual property, best practices, and what to expect from intellectual property as a manager, what you can do, and of course, what is a defensible position. So one of our mantras as lawyers, more as lawyers, is captured in these three words: identify, secure, and enforce. And this pretty much sums up the life cycle of the intellectual property lawyer. The manager has the additional responsibility of exploitation of intellectual property, of commercializing intellectual property. This slide demonstrates what I term the intellectual property ecosystem or value chain. The first step, creation; the second, protection; the third, management; and the fourth, exploitation. When is intellectual property created? When do you protect it? When do you manage, and how do you exploit it? So it's very important for us to understand when intellectual property is created. For example, if you're talking about copyrighted work, intellectual property is created from the moment you express that work in a medium. So for example, if you're an author or a poet, intellectual property is created from the moment you put proverbial pen to paper. On the other hand, if we are talking about a patent, the creation and protection stage must come soon thereafter, because in reality there are no rights to a patent without protection. So first to file is everything. So when we are looking at intellectual property management, it's important to have this value chain in our mind. It's very important for us to look at what are core management issues, because like any other property, intellectual property can be made better by better management, by better placement, by strategic allies, by contracts, and that becomes an important way of managing your intellectual property. What are the uses of intellectual property? And this is a very broad description of the uses, but something that can definitely get us started. The first use which a lawyer understand